But when you look at it, an election costs typically about $34,000, depends on the election. We run 15 e-bids, we run 22 of the ballot cast machines, and we run 9 printers. If we did this 5 precincts, 5 precincts like I'm talking about, it would cut our e-bids in half, it would cut our ice machines in half, and we typically run about 65 poll workers, and then cut it to about 30 poll workers. So it'd be a good chunk. But I want to hear from the public on it. You know, some people have been going to the same place for 40 years or 30 years or whatever it is. And I understand that. But when you're, y'all know, when we sit around during budget time, we're all trying to scratch to figure out where we're gonna get that 20 cent or that 30 cent. So if there's a way we can save money, and again, the state will reimburse you, but it might be 2 years or 3 years or whenever. And so, you know, if we're having a low turnout, I just want to bring that to y'all to see if we could kind of push that forward and maybe advertise a public hearing on it so we can hear from the public next time. And the projection would be do the 4 early voting sites like normal. And then on election day, bring in, and I need to get with Commissioner Martin on it because the south side needs to be covered. Either sermons or Eridu. We own our Eridu site, you know, and so do we want to look at that or do we want to look at the sermon site? But have one down in that day for election day. Doesn't matter where you live, you can go to any of those sites. If you're working in Greenville but you live in Lee, you can stop in Greenville on election day. So I just wanted to bring that before y'all. That way we can go ahead and get that stuff started. We'll have to notify everybody, you know, that kind of stuff. So.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I think the public hearing would be a good idea, but we don't have any idea, as you said earlier, as to when we're gonna have that special election.
It's gonna be March.
March?
The end of March, 1st of April, if the numbers are what they're telling us, but we don't have an exact date yet.
Okay.
We'll, like I said, they said we'll have that by Friday. But if we're doing our print and all that kind of stuff, we need to go ahead and have that now.
Right.
As you're, where, you know, we gotta mail out ballots 45 days prior to the military. You know, there's some stuff that we have to do a good distance out.
Right.
So I guess we have to wait till you get something back from the state approving this, and then we'll move forward with the public hearing.
Yeah, I'd like to go ahead and set, in talking with the state, Tommy's looked at it, I've looked at it, the association attorneys looked at it. We don't see where you can't, do it. But you know, they're the ultimate ones that have to say, okay, yeah. But it falls back on the supervisor of elections and the county commissioners setting the precincts. And so if we do a countywide precinct, you know, then have these polling places in those precincts, then we can cover it.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I guess that's my question. In the past, who has set the polling sites, the supervisor of elections or the board of county commissioners?
The way the law reads is both of us. It's a joint.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, okay.
And I think, Mr. Chairman, I think what Mr. Hardy's saying is if the Division of Elections calls in and says, yes, it's okay, they will be able to go ahead and advertise it in the paper and all that for your next meeting, your second meeting in January. So that's the approval he's looking for today is it okay if they do approve it, if he can go ahead and advertise it in the paper.
Yeah, that way we don't have to wait another meeting and then we're gonna be too far into
And
it.
the second meeting in January is the one at 6, so you wouldn't want to do it the first meeting in February, that'd be one at 9, or, you have those issues.
Do we need that in the form of a motion, or could we just do that on a
By consensus.
consensus?
I think you can do it by consensus, because the notice will be coming from the supervisor's office. He would just run a notice in the paper of the supervisor's name saying that at this commission meeting, it's going to be discussed and considered.
Okay.
Agreed.
Right.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you, Tom. That appears to be all of our constitutional officers. Moving down to our consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor? Aye. Aye. Our next, moving to unfinished business, item 1, and that is to end the offer for certified service center.
And, Mr. Chairman, and the county coordinator may need to give y'all some details, but it's my understanding that those folks, that Certified Service Center is no longer interested in this project. We had, this board had approved a contract with them, and if they're no longer interested, y'all just need to close that out and rescind that offer, and then we'd send them a letter so that, you know, it's just taken care of.
Okay.
But I have not talked to those folks personally, so.
But it's being rescinded at their request, is that correct?
That's correct. I mean, it's basically being rescinded without prejudice. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, they can come back.
Yeah, I mean, they can always come back, but it's, from the emails that I think I shared with y'all, they don't want to move forward at this time. So, Tommy said we need to go ahead and just close the loop by rescinding the offer.
Therefore, that land becomes available to anybody else that's interested.
That's correct.
Mr. Chair, my motion would be to rescind this offer without prejudice.
Second.
Motion and second. All approved?
Aye.
We're moving to Public Works Department, and the first item was the documents on the gas tax loan, and we have moved that to the next meeting. Now, Brian, you want to talk about some more issues?
And if you could, Mr. Chairman, to ask Lonnie.
Yes, sir.
If we could go ahead and have Lonnie kind of give us an update on the paving project, and then we might want to look at a special meeting, depending on what he thinks the invoices are fixing to come in, and if we can cover them, Billy, if we can cover them.
Yes, sir, Scruggs is actually planning to start paving Old Valdosta Road and Olive Street today. They may be starting tomorrow. They have finished lime rock placement. Obviously, they're gonna pave that road on Olive Street. They're working on the lime rock on Almond Avenue. Should probably finish that construction of placing the lime rock possibly this week. So we will probably start getting invoices from the contractor soon. I don't know how soon, you know, that's up to the company. But, they are getting their stuff together. We're getting a couple of issues with some, deeds and stuff on Flowers Road and Clover that we need to get finished before they start on those, but, they'll be doing pipe work on some of the other roads, we think probably this week and next week. So, I think as soon as they get through paving Old Valdosta and Olive Street, they're gonna move to Main Street in Greenville and probably come back, hopefully they'll be through by Almond by then. But their schedule can change, you know, their contractors, they set their own schedule, so. That's basically where we stand right now.
And also the weather will be a factor also.
Correct. With the rain, they deal with the rain just like we do, and you can't pave in the rain, obviously, so they're backed up with all the weather.
Yeah.
And it depends on how the weather plays out in the next few weeks.
There was some more, we were gonna talk about the, was there some more additions that we wanted to talk about at this time?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. DuPont, I believe, and Commissioner Martin can maybe tell you a little more history on it. I think it was lime rock back when.
Yeah, back in 1994.
Yeah, when you
first got
first
elected.
took off it,
Yeah, that was lime rock. And hadn't been done to it since then, and the problem is when it rained, I mean, folks just can't get in and out. Me and Brian went down there, some drainage issues on it too. I asked Lonnie to give me a price of what it would take to lime rock, and he said around $60,000. And what I was hoping that I could do is, out of this paving money, that I could take a portion of it out of that, out of my portion. But talked to Tommy and Reeves, and Tommy found a better way to do it.
And what we've done, Mr. Chairman, and it was one of these things that was obvious, we missed it, was in the payback of the last loan, our last payment was in June. Well, there were 2 yearly payments. There's a June payment and a December payment. So the December payment we didn't have to make. Well, that payment was about $400,000. So we think that payment should be sitting there in the bank, and y'all can take that money and do these projects if you want. You wouldn't have to borrow the money, obviously, because it's sitting there. And so, but like I said, it's one of those things that was just obvious we missed it. And I think that will also allow us to reduce the total amount you're borrowing. The documents that we had prepared were $3.9 million. I think now we could probably cut that to about $3.75 million, because some of those projects, the Lime Rock project and the project with the, down by O'Neill's that we're trying to get going, both of those could be covered out of that, December payment.
Also, I guess this is where we need to talk about the Cherry Lake Fire Department, the apron off of Olive Street.
Right.
We were talking about, Lonnie got us a bid on paving that apron there as well.
Yeah, it would make sense if we're gonna pave it, is now the time to pave it while the paving machine's there. And, Lonnie got a price from the contractor, $10,500 to go ahead and pave it. I believe you talked to the fire station and they're fine with that. And I guess if we call that a driveway, versus, it's not a parking lot, it's a driveway. We might be able to pull the funds out of this same $400,000.
You're calling it an apron, what do you mean? Is it just a road going in?
Yes, a road going into to allow the trucks to come out. It's not a parking lot. And why I say that is that, like down at the O'Neill's, the expansions that we've been talking about doing, as part of the renovation, Tommy reminded us that these funds really can't be used for a parking lot, but can be used for roads and roadway, traveling through. And so I was gonna ask what you thought about that.
The term road, it's under chapter 334, is defined really broadly. It includes the right of way, it includes sidewalks, it includes ditches, and, all those types of things. So certainly anything on the right of way, I think we can pay for out of this money. But are we talking about going off the right of way and onto the, who owns that facility? We don't own that facility.
No.
I think this is the way I think I would do it, is that 10,005, whatever's on the right of way, I think, yeah, definitely we can do. I think once you leave the right of way, you're probably not gonna be able to use that gas tax money. But now, and so I think a piece of that probably needs to come from general fund or from the fire department's money.
Mm-hmm.
But now, the majority of it could probably come out of the gas tax, because anytime you get somebody there to pave, most of that money, or a lot of that money, is in mobilization and all that. So you could take all of that, I think, out of the gas tax part and just attribute a smaller part